it's okay to work 20 hours a day. You understand your body can take way more stress.
That's Charlie Kirk telling you to work for free and put your body through stress while doing it. Now, he didn't mention working for free there, but it's important to keep in mind, he's talking about unpaid 20-hour-a-day work weeks, okay? And this is Charlie Kirk, who didn't get into college, didn't get into West Point, got rejected, tried to blame it on affirmative action, and then later got confronted about that and denied that he tried to blame it on affirmative action. Dude got paid by wealthy billionaires to start Turning Point USA, but he wants you to work for free. So before we get into Charlie Kirk's origin story, which is one of my favorite things to talk about, why don't we listen to that clip with more context?
Hello from Montana. Charlie, earlier you suggested young people just get out of high school should go offering to work for someone for free as a trade, or at least that was the impression I got. Genuine philosophical question. How would such a young person support themselves financially in that case? If they couldn't support themselves, who could support them? Do parents have an obligation to invest in their young kids to help them become financially independent? Yes, you'd have to live at home probably for a year or 2 years, for sure, if you were gonna go work for somebody for free. But here's what happens, and we're getting emails affirming this. If you go ask somebody for a job, and after 6 months, they will pay you. By the way, if you ask them for a free job, just so you know, they legally can't even do that. There's intern laws, and they'll be like, okay, I get the point. But the point is you're gonna work so many hours or work in the night shift. By the way, it's okay to work 20 hours a day. You understand your body can take way more stress. I have seen the limits of the human body, would you say, Andrew, over the last 10 years? You could push yourself. And yes, you might get sick.
Why would anyone think it's a good idea to work for free to the point where their body is going through so much stress that they would get sick? And who listens to that show and thinks, no, this guy nailed it. He's making really great arguments. Oh, that's right. The only people who would think he makes great arguments are the billionaire funders who helped him start Turning Point USA as a propaganda tool for the corporate world, for individuals who want free or cheap labor. And by the way, what he said there about intern laws is correct. You have to literally get either college credit or some sort of stipend in order to be an intern. You can't graduate high school and then just say, like, I want a job where I don't get paid. Because if there were a bunch of people running around doing that, obviously corporations would take full advantage of that. They want nothing more than free labor. But there are, luckily, believe it or not, even in the United States, some laws to protect people from that. But Woz, I don't know, maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe it's a really great idea to graduate high school and then spend 1 or 2 years working for free for 20 hours a day.
Yeah, I just wanna know, where's the example anywhere in the world outside of, I don't know, maybe the United States before 1865, where this was a thing that people did and everybody thought this was acceptable and it was just this incredible idea. I just don't understand this idea that you should work 20 hours a day for free. And again, like, yeah, who would benefit from a model like this? Nobody but basically corporations or big companies that love nothing more than free or next to free labor, which is, what neoliberalism and globalization is all about. It's like, yo, let's go to countries where the living conditions are such, we don't have to pay these people. They don't have unionized jobs. They don't have any workers' rights. They don't have any dignity in the work that they're doing. And Charlie Kirk is basically like, let's bring back sweatshops. Let's bring back deplorable working conditions. Cause I don't know, he doesn't even get at like what's the benefit of working 20 hours a week for free?
Because Woz, God, poor Woz, sweet innocent Woz, you don't get it. Because if you work for free 20 hours a day for 2 years straight, that employer, he might offer you a job at some point, a paid job, might. That's the benefit, right? Squander 2 years of your life, squander your health potentially, because Charlie Kirk, who's funded by billionaire, corporate donors, says it's a good idea. That's how you get your life started, even though he himself didn't do any of that. Again, he graduated high school, allegedly. And then after that, applied for West Point, got rejected, blamed affirmative action for getting rejected. Although we've seen his reasoning skills and I can totally understand why West Point would want to reject his ass. But more importantly, immediately after that, Turning Point USA just popped up out of nowhere. Where did it come from, Charlie? Where did it come from? Let's discuss. I love origin stories. They're so great. So Turning Point USA was actually founded in Arizona back in 2012 by Charlie Kirk, who was just 18 years old at the time, okay? And William Montgomery, a then 72-year-old Illinois businessman and conservative activist who later died in 2020 from COVID. Now, the first big backer was Foster Friess, a 77-year-old Republican mega donor known for bankrolling Rick Santorum's 2012 presidential campaign and for his strident critique of Islam. Kirk approached Friess at the 2012 Republican National Convention in Tampa and asked him to donate to a new student-focused group he'd recently created. He gave me $10,000 a couple weeks later, Kirk says. And by the way, this is not an investment, right? This isn't like a venture capitalist who's like, yo, I'm gonna put some money into this and I'm expecting a return on my investment. No, this is just a donation, right? And this is one of many from billionaires. Why? Why would they donate to this venture, Turning Point USA? Because it's just a propaganda vehicle. And you see it in the clip that we showed you of Charlie Kirk telling you, you should work for free. It's great. Yeah, of course, I'm sure you think it's great, Charlie. I'm sure you and your billionaire backers think it's great. Let's give you more. Today, Turning Point USA is fueled by a tiny group of wealthy donors that are pouring massive amounts of money into the organization. The nonprofit organization reported $55 million in revenue in 2020. So that's the fiscal year in 2020 between June of 2020 through June of 2021, a 40% increase over the previous year. Contributions to its political arm, Turning Point Action, increased from $2 million to $11 million over the same period. Now, Turning Point USA, which received just $8 million in contributions in 2016, has raised $138 million over the last 5 years, according to the organization's Form 990, which is a tax document filed by nonprofit groups. And while the organization's reach continues to grow, its funding base remains relatively small. A relatively small group of billionaires. Roughly half of its 2020 income came from 10 anonymous donors. And since it's listed as a nonprofit, they don't have to disclose who those donors are. But Kirk himself said the quiet parts out loud, and we know who some of these donors are, like Foster Friess. And when Cenk Uygur had confronted Charlie Kirk about that during his debate with Hassan Piker at Politicon a few years ago, Charlie got very upset. Let's watch.
You're trying to attack me, which is ridiculous, like asking me what my salary is. Sure, I'll reveal it willingly.
You brought it up in context. I'm asking, why don't you live like a socialist?
Okay.
Go live like a socialist.
The point is larger. The point is larger than that, Charlie.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Cenk. I live as a capitalist, okay? I live what I believe. No. What do I do? I get charity every single year.
Hold on.
What's my salary? Less than his.
Charlie, take a seat.
Come on, Cenk, let's go.
Charlie,
what are you doing? Sit.
Take a seat. Take a seat.
Psycho?
All right, no. Take a seat. You're gonna take a seat. You're gonna take a seat over here.
Oh my God.
What's my salary?
All right.
Oh, ridiculous. All right, behave, everyone. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
I practice what I preach, Cenk.
Charlie.
You do not practice what you preach.
Charlie.
He lives like a capitalist every single day, meaning he'll take money from billionaire donors to be a mouthpiece for corporate executives who want free or cheap labor. Good job, Charlie. You must be really proud of yourself.
Let's call it what it is. Charlie Kirk is a sugar baby, and listen, we don't kink shame on this show. I realize that, but like he just keep the game real. This idea that like, oh, I'm going out and I'm hustling. It's like, no, I got famous for a false claim. which it's so easy to become like a right-wing martyr. Like anything will get you on the right-wing martyrdom circuit where, they're trying to hook up women with Rittenhouse at one of these conventions. And it's like you just do anything, you can be a right-wing martyr. And now he's got a bunch of sugar daddies and he doesn't have to work a day in his life ever again. I don't know what that has to do with capitalism or socialism. It seems to me that he's just, a walking, breathing charity case. And he goes out and does the bidding of the people who take pity on him.
Not only take pity on him, see him as a useful tool. And he's very happy and willing to be a useful tool, because what other option does he have? Couldn't get into West Point, had no future. Thinks he's well suited to give other young individuals advice on how to build their future. Let me give you guys actual sound advice. Don't take crap from any employer who expects you to work with starvation wages. Organize your workplace. You deserve better, not just in terms of pay, but in terms of benefits. You guys should have a seat at the table, especially since you're basically earning the revenue and the profits for the company that you're working for. Don't let someone like Charlie Kirk, who was a failure, and as Waz mentions, is now nothing more than a charity case for wealthy billionaires who want cheap labor. Don't let him convince you that it's a good idea to be abused by your employer. I mean, and if you do get convinced by that, I don't know, have at it, enjoy. I don't get it, but if that's what you want, some people are into that. And you're right, no kink shaming, but I think people deserve better.
Yeah, I would just hope that people aren't honestly taking this guy at his word, and think that he's operating with any level of intellectual honesty. The fact that he would get on that stage and say, I live my life as a capitalist, and he doesn't work, he doesn't run a business, he doesn't he's just straight up just receiving money for his nonprofit from people who are obscenely rich. It's the height of ridiculousness.
Absolutely.